Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's lesson objective. So today we will decompose fractions using area models to show equivalence. All right. So before we get started with today's lesson, let's go ahead and review go over what are equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are fractions that represent the same amount. It's going to be the same whole partitioned a different way and written with different numerators and denominators. So remember, equivalent means the same. So if we have equivalent fractions, it's going to be fractions that represent the same amount, even though they're written in different fractions. So let's go ahead and do this right now with this fraction over here. So we want to find an equivalent fraction. So over here, I have 3/4, right? I'm going to represent the orange part. So we have the orange part represents 3/4. Now I want to find an equivalent fraction to 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut each of my fourths, each of my orange sections into two pieces, right? Now I'm dealing with fractions, so fractions mean all of the pieces need to be the same. They need to represent the same amount. So I also have to go ahead and partition my white fourth as well, right? So now I've partitioned all of my pieces. So now what is my new fraction? Let's first figure out what our denominator is, the number of pieces that we have partitioned our whole into. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have eighths over here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and represent eighths, right? Now, how many of my eighths are in orange? So let's go ahead and count them again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of my eighths are in orange. So 6/8 is equal to 3/4. Because if I were to erase this line over here, that would be the same amount, right? So 3/4 and 6/8 are the same. They are the same amount. They are equivalent fractions. Now I'm going to go ahead and redraw this in, right? Now, how could I represent this with a number sentence? All right. So if I wanted to represent this with a number sentence, we could have done this before we had eights, I had 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. And this was going to equal 3/4. Now, similarly, we can go ahead and do the same thing with eights. I'm going to go ahead and use brackets to show how they are the same as 1/4. So I have 1/8 plus 1/8 for my 1/4 over here. I'm going to add that to another eighth plus another eighth. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this to another eighth plus one more eighth, which if we combine all of these together, this is going to equal 6/8. And we can figure that out by counting all of our eights, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6/8. So 6/8 is equal to 3/4. These are equivalent fractions. All right, everyone, let's go over today's lesson objective. So today we decompose fractions using area models to show equivalence. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was a helpful lesson and I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you next time, okay? Have a fantastic day. Bye, everyone.